奇跡をくださいな永遠を手にしたいなんてさ見せつけたい強さを感じていたいニコニコの欲は人の姿クイーンについてしまえ骨の隅までもこのまま消し去ってしまってもいいさ涙流れ出る涙は誰のためなのもう嫌だ嘘は嫌気まぐれなゼリー叫びまくるイカれるようにその命果てる時まで叫べ時を止めな狂いましょう我を忘れて生きるようにゴージャスは歓喜をつくああ神様奇跡をくださいな袖を手に入れるだけさ操りたいもてそびたいあざとりこな毒は悪の腹が噛みついてしまえ骨の隅までもこのまま消し去ってしまってもいいさ生に震わせる心は誰のためなのもう嫌だ嘘は嫌怖くまでゼリークイーンについてしまえ骨の隅までもこのまま消し去ってしまってもいいさなのに震わせる命は誰のためなのもう嫌だ嘘は嫌気まぐれのジェニーわがままなジェニー
Hello, good evening, and welcome to a very special Star Fury Facebook Live, as we're going to be doing an interview with one of our favorite guests, which will start in just a couple of minutes. As you know, during the pandemic, I interviewed quite a lot of different actors, regular Star Fury faces. We were interviewing them over Facebook Live to keep people excited and give them something to do and entertain while we're all in lockdown during the pandemic. I haven't done any of those interviews since the pandemic finished. However, I thought with us launching the third Witch Bomb event, it would be nice to get this lady along and have a little chat with her and find out what she's been up to recently to get us all excited for Witch Bomb and to help promote that. As you know, Witch Bomb is our convention. We've been running it for 2 years, and it's going to be the third event in August. It's celebrating Motherland, Fort Salem. We also incorporate the show Warrior Nun. They're both very similar. They're both very different because one's more science fiction-y, one's more fantasy, but they're both very strong feminist shows with very strong characters, and I feel they appeal to the same fan bases. This actress, she's been doing our event since 2022, and we've brought her back every year since then because she's a lot of fun to have along. She first turned up at Star Fury Survival 5. A lot of you all know her from Motherland, Fort Salem. She was also in Deadly Class. She was also in Deadpool. And you'll soon be able to see her on the series over here, North is North. So let's give it over to Taylor Hickson.
Hi.
Hey, Taylor, how are you doing?
You?
Long time no see. Haven't seen you since August.
I know, but I'll be coming back to haunt you again.
I know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, coming back to terrorize you all once more, and
Well,
very grateful about it.
I don't think it would be a proper witch bomb without you.
And you.
Well,
Really.
Although I shouldn't really say that, because I used to say that about Tom Ellis and my Lucifer events. And then on one of my Lucifer events, he was working, so we couldn't turn up. So, but, it wouldn't be the same without you at a witch bomb event. So that's why we keep bringing you back. And we put it out to the fans to send in some questions.
Okay.
And so I put them all together. Initially with the Motherland Fort Salem questions, then more career orientated, and then more personal kind of questions.
As per usual, everything you conduct is organized. So
yeah,
Sean Harry fashion.
So we got one. Now, one thing that is Sean Harry fashion is me never being able to pronounce people's names right. Now, I think this is Salabra from Spain. I hope I haven't mauled your name too much. And they sent a little message that said, "Hi Taylor, thank you for being so kind." And she wants to let you know that Motherland, she wants to know what Motherland Fort Salem meant to you in terms of both your career and also your personal life. And if you ever imagined that a character you played would have such a huge impact upon the LGBTQ community.
Huge question. Requires a few different pieces for answering. But just to acknowledge the impact it's had on my life. Literally, a bunch of the cast were in my dream last night, and Ashley was driving us around. So if that doesn't say, how much it bleeds even into like integral parts of my daily thinking, they're present in my subconscious. I miss them all the time. So with the support of everyone coming to these events, this is the way that we get to keep connected. And so I'm so thankful for that. But in terms of my career, it was a massive landmark for me. It was some of the best years of my life, to be around so many women, and it's truly only in retrospect that I think I can honor what it meant to me, because at the time you're just in it, you're present, you're soaking it all in, you're taking it all for granted, which just means I was just being present and mindful. But I miss it so sorely. I think about it all the time. I audition for things looking for likenesses, looking to sort of recreate that idea, that feeling that I had while creating Motherland. And obviously it's not something you can copy and paste. So I live very much in that headspace, missing it and missing my cast members. And I've been traveling a lot all over the world and thinking of them and missing them. So I'll be very, very happy to be able to come back to Star Fury and see those beautiful faces again, because it's immeasurable what it meant to me personally, but also my career. And to nod to the LGBTQ section of the question, to be handed a torch and lead and give what's the word I'm looking for, to just give like imagery and acknowledgement to LGBTQ community on screen was such a massive task that I was very ill prepared for. But I loved every moment of it, the ups, the downs, the mistakes I made, the things I got right. It was such a massive honor. And I thank my lucky stars for the team of Motherland and also just the LGBTQ community for receiving me, while I was still very much in my youth, exploring my sexuality, understanding what it meant to grow into womanhood, grow into a new body, a new mindset. It was a massive cradle for me to be caught in the net of this by this community and just held and loved and received so deeply. It's immeasurable.
Now we've got Adrian from Hastings, and he asks, what was your favorite memory of working on Motherland Fort Salem?
I've been asked this question so many times, and it almost certainly depends on the day and the moment that you ask me, because there are so many. I mean, me and Jess and Ash had so many silly jokes and laughs just among us that bonded us three. But one of my favorite things that I love to rewatch and sort of see pop up in my tagged in is to revisit the first salva drop that Amalia's character Silla brings to Rael and sort of blows her doors open and just shows her how much more is out there and intrigues her and gives her more lust for life and sort of ignites something really deep in her that had been missing for a long, long time since her mother's passing. And, you know, I think she was just looking for guidance and direction and wasn't getting that within herself or her environment. And that sort of pivotal moment just, blew her doors off. And I think she could see clearly for the first time. And it was such a magical moment to share with Amalia. And I think the connection was really rooted in that special moment. And we shot it in 2 pieces. And, you know, the section we shot in the studio we actually just laughed a lot because there was like these massive 6-foot, 200-pound men that were kind of on the opposite end of more or less teeter-totters that we were strapped into and sort of giving us this hovering motion and people blowing really loud fans. We were shooting in slow motion to create what we call a wet-dry sequence. And it's you shoot in like a slower frame per second than 24 frames, which would feel lifelike. And what happens when you blow hair or whatever it be, it sort of makes it look like you're in underwater, or it gives a fluidity to everything. So, you know, that was a really cool learning curve and one of the first stepping stones to understanding, you know, how grandiose this world building and development was, to sort of step into Elliot's mind, and to sort of set up for how much, you know, other CGI and things that would take place. It was weird to be sort of have obstacles in the way of your acting or interacting because these things aren't so rooted in reality. So it was really fun to play with those elements. And I feel like I've been searching for that kind of thing ever since.
Now, we've got Emma from Italy. Now, she says how much she misses Rael and the whole series. And she wanted to know, what was your thoughts when you had both the information, both that Motherland Fort Salem was coming back for a 3rd series, but that it was also the last one?
Obviously, incredibly bittersweet. I think we were teased often from the beginning, just with the hope that it would go on forever, because Elliot's idea for this world, it was so expansive, and there was just it was infinite. There was no end really in sight. And so to try and tie up a story that seemed to be growing larger and larger in scale, it was hard to tie it up because it sort of felt like a funnel, and you were just like, the story was opening up for more information, more characters, greater world building. And so, to sort of, it felt like the arc sort of came outwards and then in really, really quickly. It's like a reverse funnel. So yeah, it was very bittersweet. Obviously I guess not obviously, but I did get into a car accident very early into shooting season 3, which turned the entire thing on its head. They had to sort of redirect where my place in the story was, and how Rael would contribute. So, we took 2 weeks as a sort of timeout, and the writers just went to work after months and months and months of pouring in hard work, creating season 3 and finally getting it approved. The whole thing was flipped on its head. So it was a marvel that they made it work. And they were so gracious about giving me healing time and ensuring that, I felt good to come back and put my best work forward. But yeah, for about 3 months, I was not part of shooting, which, that was probably like half or more of our shooting time. Right. So yeah, I came back and kind of, they like shot me out at the last month or two. But I was missing through a lot of it, which was obviously heartbreaking for me. But everyone was so supportive and would come and visit me and bring me baked goods and, when I was able to take walks and whatnot. So everyone was so lovely. But yeah, it was incredibly bittersweet. We're so lucky that we got to do 3 seasons. I think the longer that I work in this industry, I grew up watching like anywhere from 5 to 20 seasons of a television series, and that's just not the formula anymore. I think especially, with the introduction of TikTok and the effect of dopamine in the brain, it's just like we are completely saturated with new content all the time. And the sad reality is people get tired of the same story. And when you're a money machine and you recognize that even if the suits are a fan of the show, it's ultimately you have to do what's best for the company to stay afloat. We've been through COVID. There's a lot of hard things happening in our LA fires, and all of that has been impacting us, and the writer strike and the actor strike. So we've seen a lot of turmoil within the film industry and a lot of even more inconsistency and instability than you would normally. And, we went from having 100+ shows shooting in Vancouver to having 3 to 5 at any given time, which, cost a lot of people their jobs. So yeah, it's a bit strange, and I'm seeing the midst of reformulating, of moving from cable to streaming, and streaming ultimately the way that it has been going is not sustainable as a business model. So you're watching in real time everyone sort of figure out what isn't working. So yeah, we're kind of like caught in the crossfire of all that. So to have 3 seasons was a massive feat, to be fair, and to be caught in the midst of this and through COVID. We shot most of Motherland through COVID. We dropped like the day that basically I think the day that COVID shut the world down. Essentially, I caught the last flight back to Canada from New York, like March 16th. So that was like the pit of it all. And I also would credit people being stuck inside to being gifted the later seasons, because I think it granted us more viewership. It's been a very strange roller coaster of events for our industry, but yeah, it's so rare. Right now I'm out in Calgary, and my partner is working on Billy the Kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's the stunt double for Billy, and he also assists in stunt coordinating. So he's very, very busy here, and I just pop over when I can say hi. But yeah, they're doing their 3rd, I think, final season as well, which again is like a massive feat. It's so rare. I've done a lot of television, and so far Motherland is the only one that surpassed 1 season. And it doesn't seem to matter, how fantastic or well-loved or marketed they are. Like, there's just some things that we aren't privy to. And, Deadly Class was one of them. I mourn that show every day alongside Motherland. So yeah, it's tricky, but I'm so grateful that we got 3. And I think we are really lucky in this day and age, in these trying times, that we were granted 3 seasons. I cherish them.
Now, Susie, who's from El Salvador, said, if you had to write a pickup line for Rael to tell Silla, what would it be?
Right one? Damn, I'm not that good. I've been off my game. I'm like basically married now. Like I don't remember how to flirt. To be fair, Rael didn't really know how to flirt either. It's got to be something to do with like blue. It'd probably be something to do with the only tie I can make is like indigo, because she kind of has like an indigo tone to her eyes in certain lights. It's like, I don't know, something about like complimenting her eyes, being indigoing out with me.
That one will just have to do.
Here's like the creak of my chair, and everyone's like, boo from home.
Now, Rari from Scotland, he was asking, what did you find most joyful and fun when it came to working and doing scenes with Amalia?
I miss her so much. I was literally looking at her Instagram yesterday, being like, I love her. She's so funny. Some of my sister got to work on the crew portion in season 3, and my roommates and family still quote some of the things she says because she's so funny. She's so witty, so emotionally intelligent. I think that was where we really connected, was talking about familial relationships and romantic relationships, and boundaries. And I think we co-aligned so perfectly in so many of our values and our life experiences. And I think that was like a core source of our connection, was just sort of bearing everything and being unafraid of anything ugly you had within yourself, or that you had experienced in your past history. And we talked about it all, and I just always felt loved and received by her. There's no judgment. I hope I offered her a similar experience. I often try to. And I think it's about compassion, and about Jess one time gave me a good tip about when you're working with a supposed romantic interest, because people are just so cute. I love people. People are so cute. You can find something cute or lovable or wonderful about any person. It doesn't even matter if they're like absolutely miserable. Like even that can be cute. Do you know what I mean? It takes the mindset. And it's sort of about latching onto something that you find endearing or lovable or sweet or beautiful, whatever calls to you, and sort of centering your thinking internally about that person around that idea. And there was like a countless list of things to love about Amalia. She just made it really, really, really easy. And I think I think intimacy coordinators have been around for a long time, but they weren't really a common idea. And we were offered an intimacy coordinator quite late into the show. I actually want to say it was season 3, and by that point we were like, nah, like we know what we're doing and we're comfortable. And I think if we hadn't been brave enough to share our boundaries, or to say like, this works for me, this doesn't. And I really want to credit Amalia for that, because she, I think, really led in those scenarios. And I think she's just very fearless and strong in saying like, this makes me feel safe, this doesn't. And in turn, it sort of welcomes you to do the same thing. I find her very inspiring. Or, she'll also just say like, this makes me uncomfortable, this doesn't, regardless of what it is, regardless if it's something we're doing or we're talking about life, or just something physical about safety on set. She's a wonderful leader, and a wonderful person to look up to. And she just has so much love and respect, and just carried herself so wonderfully. She's definitely an inspiration for me.
Now we've got Alison from Scotland, and she says, in the first episode of Fort Salem, there's a compilation scene where you're training, climbing walls, crawling through mud, all the boot camp stuff. And she wanted to know, did you go through boot camp to train like soldiers? And how long did that compilation scene take to film?
So that was actually, I have a few stories about that. That was our first day on set.
Oh.
And we had a different Abigail originally when we shot the pilot. And so when Ashley was brought in, we had to do it all over again. So that was kind of like how they, I think, intended to connect us on day one, was like, we're throwing you into the shit, and this is going to bond you. And I think they were right. Like, there is definitely something to it, where I think Ashley and I were she was making TikToks with me, like dripping wet in robes day one, while we were shooting those like cold mud scenes. You know, they had these massive sprinklers spraying cold hose water on you, and like, I don't know what it was, March or April. It was way too cold. But on my very, very first day of the pilot, we were shooting in July, so it was a little nicer. But obviously no one really knew who was who. It was day one. And I was sort of like waiting around for someone to tell me what to do. And we had like 30, 50, maybe more background, right? Everyone's dressed the same. We're all in our uniforms. And a wardrobe person came up to me and started giving me shit. Like, where's your belt? I was like, I don't know. Someone took it off me and took it away to do something. And she's like, well, what, who? I'm like, they had this color hair. And then they were like, there's no one there that has this hair. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm sorry. And one of the background tapped them on the shoulder and said, that's the number one. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. You have a different costume department. I'm sorry. I thought you were like part of this group. But I was like, that put it in perspective to me. I was like, do these guys get like yelled at on a regular basis? But I didn't see them after that, so I'm not sure what happened, but bless them. But yeah, it was definitely core bonding, and scared the shit out of me. Like, I was like, I'm being yelled at like by a superior, and I'm doing something wrong. And they also, outside of set, you know, they were putting us through boot camps, and obviously we had to be strong going into these roles physically, because that's what's demanded of your body as a soldier. So to sell this, we were also going to, like, I think we did a berries boot camp. We went to something called Jaybird, which was lovely. They took us exercising. We had our stunt coordinator EJ. He did a lot of boot camps with us, and taught us how to do stunt rolls, and lots of different things with like fighting and kickboxing. We were being put through kind of whatever we wanted, like a lot of I guess, what would you call it, like sort of like obstacle courses, or when they have you like run laps, what are those? Like it's like a training.
I know what it all is visually from watching all these films and stuff.
Yeah, I know everyone's like yelling it at their screens, and yes. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So yeah, we were sort of put through all these different boot camps, which was awesome. It's like, I love exercising. I exercise almost every day, so it was really fun and great bonding time for us.
So Anne from Leicester, she asks, you had 2 songs on the Motherland Fort Salem soundtrack albums. Do you have any plans to release any more music?
Yes, I am actively working on an album with a very dear friend of mine. He's in a band called Yukon Blonde. They're wonderful. Go check them out. He produces all of their stuff. So if that gives you any inkling as to how talented he is, I'm so grateful to be working with him. It took a long time, years, to find someone who I felt suited me. And, when I was handing them the seeds or the demo and going like, can you grow this into a big, beautiful tree? It would come out like an apricot tree or a maple tree. And I'm like, I'm looking for like a peach tree. So it's like wasn't quite right. And I think there's so much to finding a symbiosis in this sort of in music production, and I'm very new to this. It's like learning a brand new art form and learning about the industry. I'm like, I feel like I'm so old to be learning about this, because I've got this whole other industry under my belt that I understand fairly deeply, although it surprises me often. But this one, I'm just like completely in the dark. I have one song finished, two songs half finished. I have a music video.
Oh.
Yes, but I'm so excited about what I'm making. I'm actually flying back to Vancouver on Wednesday. I'm going to have a rehearsal with Jeff, who's his name, and I'm singing on one of their songs at I think they're playing at a party for the Junos, which is like a Canadian Music Awards. And they've asked me to come sing, and I'm so scared, but that's on Friday. So I'm gonna have like a little midnight debut into, slowly coming back into not wanting to shit myself singing in front of people on a stage. Yeah, I'm so scared, but you got to do the thing that scares you, right? So this has always been a really, really sacred thing that I've protected for a long time, just because I'm my own worst critic, and it's so easy with film. Like, I go out, I do the best job I can do on the day, as much preparation as I can, but then ultimately it's out of my hands. And I would say I'm more of an ideas person rather than someone who sees something through, which is lovely that I have so many people around me to hold me accountable to that. But yeah, it's for the first time in my life, I'm really having to hold myself accountable to finishing something, and it's not one of my like crazy business ideas that I just pour money into and forget about. I'm actually looking to complete this, no matter how long it takes me. But yeah, I'm actively working on it. I'm very excited about it. I won't finish the album before I release songs, so I will start slowly releasing things while I continue working on the album. I'm just hoping to have like 2 finished, so that I don't put one out and then everyone's like, okay, now what? So that's kind of my goal. But yeah, I have a lot to learn about the business side. So if anyone has any tips to being like an independent artist releasing music, help, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I love it. And I know it's art that's been very, very, very fulfilling to me. And I'm very excited to share it with you. It's scary because it's completely all mine. I can't blame it on like bad direction or bad CGI or whatever else you can blame why something tanks. It's like, no, I have to wear this. So if everyone hates it, it's like, it's my art. And
No. Believe me, the fans love your singing. They love your music, and they'll be very excited about this project.
I hope so. Even if it's a few dozen of you who are like, yeah, it's like,
It'll be more than that.
a
lot more than that.
So, yeah, but I'm going to be true to myself, and hopefully it'll bring some enjoyment to you as well.
Now, Halim Ashraf in Manchester, they ask if Motherland Fort Salem would do a crossover with any TV show, what show would it be and why?
I mean, come on, it's kind of got to be like Warrior Nun. But Sabrina the Teenage Witch would be kind of cool, because they'd be like, what kind of hoodoo are you doing?
Kian and Shipka version?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see, because there's so much earth-based magic, and and the sort of negative forces, for a lack of a better term, that they encounter are so different than what Sabrina is put through. So it would be interesting if they could sort of share their
I think that would work really well. I mean, that's giving me thoughts of something else I can add into with Motherland Fort Salem on the events in the future.
Yeah, WitchCon. Yeah, there's so many great witch shows out there, and I love anything in that realm. Like, I just watched what's that called? I think it's called just Little Red Riding Hood or Red Riding Hood with Amanda Seyfried.
Oh yes, Red Riding Hood.
Ren
Yes.
Hardwick did after Twilight, I think.
Yes.
But I'm such a sucker for that genre. No pun intended. Like I love vampires, I love witches, I love Vampire Diaries. It's such a beige flag. It might even be a red flag to some in my taste. I'm just like, no, I don't watch Star Wars. I don't watch, which is crazy because it's like fantasy and sci-fi kind of. They have a little like every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Yeah, there's some things that I just didn't get into, like Lord of the Rings. Love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You think someone who likes Lord of the Rings might vibe with Star Wars, and I'm just like, I fall asleep halfway through the movie. Don't know how any of them end. I'm sorry. The first three, it's beyond me. And you'd think you'd like those big epic things like Marvel. I can't sit through a Marvel film. I don't know what it is.
You've been in one.
I know. Isn't that terrible? I haven't even seen Deadpool 3. I was actually originally asked to be in Deadpool 3 because of all the I don't know what for. I'm hoping I can watch the movie and see where it would fit in. But I don't know if he was doing like some time travel or something.
Well, it was it starts off where he's having a dinner with all his friends. Okay. So I could see your character could maybe have been brought in for that.
Maybe. I was like, what? Are you serious? And I cried when I got it, and then I cried when I lost it because there was so much happening with the writer's strike and then the actor strike, and eventually they got shut down mid-shooting and had to continue, but they had to revert to a different version of the script in order to make it work. Yeah, but so like I was supposed to be in it and I haven't even watched it yet. So that says anything about like how much time I give to movies. I've watched one movie recently. I just watched Nora, so I'm happy. I'm really happy I did that. That was incredible, very evoking. Almost a hard watch, but very, very cool.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's a good one. It's really good. I mean, she won, I think.
Oh yes, she won most of the awards.
Yeah, and you'll see why.
Yeah,
brilliant. She's brilliant. But yeah, I love any of those kind of like witch shows, True Blood, any of that. I'm such a sucker for them. Yeah, so it would be any like witch show, vampire show, anything like that. I would love to see that crossover.
Now we've got Jane Ash. She asks, how cold was it during filming of North of North?
I got so lucky. I'll tell you guys, I got so lucky because they began shooting, I think before now, when it would still be dark, most of the day. And I was brought in for the last 3 episodes. And I think it was originally intended to be 10 episodes, but two might have ended up on the cutting room floor just because it's so difficult to get supplies up there. And I think they originally meant to have their studio finished, and it wasn't finished at the time. So they turned the curling rink. They stole the curling rink from the community, and we turned it into our studio and built everything in there. I'm so proud of that show. It is so brilliantly funny and costumed and acted. Everyone on it. I'm just in awe. I'm so proud to be a part of such strong Canadian content. So proud to be a Canadian. I'm so excited for it to launch on Netflix and for everyone else to receive this show.
Looking forward to it.
It's so funny, Sean. It's so funny. And Anna is like just awesome. So awesome in the role. Everyone is awesome in their roles. They're perfect. Everyone is perfectly casted. I promise you. Yeah, I was so grateful to be a small part of it. And I hope if we go for season 2 that we can, I get to come back. But I think they would, again, be shooting more in like summer. So I came up in June, and it was, maybe on the coldest night, like -15, -20. But I'd say it usually sat around -10 and 0, which is not terrible when it's so dry up there. It's cold, but I'm in Calgary right now. It's been like between -10 and 5 degrees most days. That's in Celsius, by the way. I don't know if anyone's watching. You Google that for Fahrenheit conversion. Yeah, it's cold. It's very cold up there, but it wasn't like minus 50, which is what it
Yeah.
was when
Oh my God.
all the cast got up there, right? You know, minus 50, minus 60 in your average afternoon. And it's dark most of the time, right? Because you're so far north that the sun doesn't come up until I want to say about now, around now, is when they start seeing dawn and a little bit of sunrise again. And when I was there in, I want to say it was May or June maybe, and it was starting to lean a little bit more the other way. So in their summer, the sun comes up and it doesn't set for like 5-6 months, I want to say. It just does circles in the sky for at least 2 months. And then, yeah, most of your, you know, it was like 3 a.m. and it would still be light outside, which was so trippy, but very cool, very, very visceral living up there. You know, milk is like anywhere from like $20, $30 for a gallon. Everything. Sean, a 6-pack of Coke. I'm so lucky I don't like soda. Is I think I want to say like $56.
Wow.
Because
that's Canadian dollars.
It's Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
So you can't ship. So that would be probably like 25 quid.
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like
that. Can tell you spent some time in the UK.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, my bank account vividly remembers. It always leaves its fingerprint and a kiss. But yeah, so our dollar is terrible right now, so I'm a little nervous to go back and see how much worse it's gotten since last year, because we're like $1.40 to the American dollar right now. And you know, with the tariffs looming, who knows what that's going to look like. I'm honestly incredibly worried for the northern indigenous communities, just because it's so expensive, just the cost of living, the groceries and everything that has to be shipped up, you know. And you begin to understand the diet a lot more, right? They eat what's available to them. So there's a lot of caribou, which is delicious. They eat, you know, a lot of like, I think I tried narwhal while I was there. There's a lot of like interesting things that we normally wouldn't eat further south, but no vegetation grows for most of the year. So if you want to ship vegetables up, it's extremely costly. So, you know, they eat a lot of like dried goods, canned goods, and different meats that are available to them. A lot of fish, and like just marine species. So it's really, really cool to sort of sit in the presence of their everyday life and just observe, you know, and the clothing and everything, their jewelry making. Everyone's so talented and it's all so beautiful, and there's so much color, which is so much rich color. And it's inspired me to want to bring more color into my wardrobe. Enough today, but I bought I'll go get this crazy blue sweater.
All right.
This is the impact of, I bought 2 colored things. I bought a parka in case I have to go back that I found at the thrift store. And then I bought a wool sweater, which
that's nice.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful bright blue. But yeah, there's just so much wonderful color up there, and it inspires you to want to get creative and wear bright things, because the landscape gives you the perfect palette to just paint whatever colors you'd like in there. Yeah, it was cold, but I was very lucky. All to say.
Right, the next few questions, which I'd bunched together, you've actually kind of answered most of these, but I'll just read some of them out to you anyway, because this is all your music stuff. Because we have a lot of people asking about you. So as I said, there's a lot of interest in your music. Right? Jess from Australia, for example, she said, "Hi Taylor, we were teased at last year's Witch Bomb that you've been writing music. Can you give us an update on how that's going?" Which you have done. "We're more than happy to be your sounding board if you wanted to send us a cheeky little demo." So you can see you got a lot of support for your music. Whereas we've got Anne from Leicester. Now she's asking, if you were to record a duet with anybody, what would the song be and who would you sing it with?
Oh, what? So it's a pre-written song? I've written some some duets weirdly, but I don't know. I mean, I love singing with Amalia. I would absolutely do any other form of Christmas carol. We did one last year. I would do any Christmas carol with her any time of year. Mid-July, I'd eat that up. I'd love that. Amalia would be really fun to sing with. But if I could just pick like any person, living or dead, I don't know. I mean, Chapel Roan, probably. Chapel Roan's so cool. I would just want to like sit in her presence and be like, tell me everything. Just lay all your cool out on me. Teach me everything you know. Yeah, if it could be anyone living or dead, it would probably be Chapel Roan.
Well, Nell from Germany, she's actually asking, is it Chapel Roan? She asked, who is your favorite music artist besides Taylor Swift?
Oh man, that's so hard. I love a lot of bands, which is tricky. And I cycle through, I listen to a lot of music from the 60s and 70s. The one, like the album I have on repeat that was recommended by my friend Jeff, is The Byrds, Byrds. And the album is The Notorious Byrd Brothers.
I'll have to check that one. Notorious Byrd Brothers.
Very, very cool, very trippy. I'm auditioning for a lot of stuff that takes place in the 70s. And so, yeah, I've just been sort of like picking up soundtrack subconsciously. I think that suits me. But yeah, I've always had an affinity for anything in that sort of wheel of time. I gravitate to all like ceramics, furniture, wallpaper, anything that seems to come from that era. And I always have. So yeah, checks out. But Chapel Roan obviously is a big one. I'm very new to Tate McRae, but I'm all about Canadian everything right now. And Tate McRae, I think, is from Calgary or near Calgary, Edmonton or Calgary, somewhere in Alberta. So she's our Canadian girl. She's doing very well right now. She's so beautiful, so talented. I'm not usually like a pop girly. I have like my few little things, but I've been trying to give her some listens because I'm so proud of her and how well she's doing as a Canadian. Obviously Chapel Roan. I have the two pop records I have on vinyl on repeat would be Chapel Roan and Taylor Swift Red, Taylor's version. So that's pretty accurate, I'd say. I nailed it.
So now we've got Miranda from the Netherlands, and she's asking, out of all the conventions you've attended, what's been your favorite memory?
Oh, that's so hard. Because we make good ones every year. Like we top every year. I mean, so many of the costumes and the dress ups and just like fun games that we get to play. I love games. And my family every Friday would be like, let's have movie night. Or I was like, why can't we have game night? I want to play games. I want to learn more about you. Like, let's play games. And they're like, no, we don't play games. And so I get to like take all my nerdy gaming out on you guys, which is awesome. I mostly just love getting to like converse, hear stories, and sort of catch up with everyone in the year prior. Like, what have you done all year? It's so cool to see people, working on their degrees and then graduating. And yeah, here's where I'm applying my school and I've now taken this job and I've actually we've gotten to watch each other grow up, which is so cool to me, to be able to have those relationships that you carry on. But with like some of the cast, we'll go get dinner. And Lynn gave us so many cool tips when we were in Brussels because that's her stomping grounds, and she's from there. So she gives lots of good tips for places to eat. I really, really want to go visit Sweden so that Amalia can show me her her home. That's one that's like very high on my list. So I don't know if when I come to visit you, maybe I'll go check out Sweden and specifically Stockholm. I've been wanting to visit there for a long, long time. But yeah, it's just getting to meet in the most beautiful parts of the world and eating the best food with my favorite people is like impossible to top. We are so spoiled. So it's, you know, and coming to see you guys are so organized and so funny, and you just give us such an awesome time every time we come. Like everyone who's heard about it, who hasn't come, is like, wait, how do we get in contact? We want to come. So you're very loved, and yeah, we have such a blast at these things, even on the tight turnarounds where, you know, we're in and out. It's always worth it. So fun.
Well, Simone from Germany, she's asking in terms of conventions, if you attended an event, who would you queue up for a photo or an autograph with?
Like if I attended any
is there any actor or musician or just star who you would buy an autograph from or queue up for a photo with?
There's so many. J.K. Simmons, Tatiana Maslany. Oh my God, I'm racking my brain right now. There's so many. I'm like, hold on. The way I have to like actually go look at a list right now. Golly. You know who I love actually, and almost everything he's ever starred in is Woody Harrelson. What else? There's so many. Like anyone from Schitt's Creek, probably. Zooey Deschanel.
I saw Woody Harrelson in theatre last year.
Really?
Sadly, he didn't do the stage door, unfortunately, so I didn't get a picture with him. But I got to see him live on stage.
I love Woody Harrelson. Yeah. I would go see Florence Pugh. My goodness, there's just so many talented people. I'm like completely blanking. Emily Blunt, for sure, just like top of the list. Emily Blunt, I love Emily Blunt so much. Yeah, there's so many awesome people.
And finally, Simone from Germany also asks, what do you like most about being a guest at a convention? And why do you think it's important to hold these conventions in the first place?
There's hundreds of reasons. I can try and give you my top few, but there's so many reasons, and they're really self-evident when you come to one. Obviously, just nurturing the family that we've created and keeping something alive. But I think it's also a place that receives so much creativity. There's so much artwork. There's so much like costume making. I think it really inspires and nourishes the pieces of those artists that, you know, need a place to be seen and explored. I think it's a lot of place where people bring emotions that they don't know how to sort through, and they find their way through there. They find community. You know, for us, it's just like a miracle to be like, really, you still care and you want to come hang out with me? It's baffling to me every year. I'm just like, what? Seriously? And yeah, it's so grateful. I mean, we get to, all the cast gets to come back, and it's like we're creating the show again. And yeah, there's truly nothing that beats it. And I think we miss it so sorely. And this has been the one thread that really makes everyone put everything on pause as much as possible and gets a large group of us all in one place. And I think outside of that, I'm like, I don't even know if a wedding could really do that. Like that really brings all of us together in one spot, and keeps the friendships alive amongst the busyness of work and us living literally all around the world, different countries, experiencing, you know, different political environments and different weather environments. Like everyone pauses what they're doing and all meets and congregates in one spot, and we make time for each other. And it's just a very sacred place to bring your creativity, to bring nostalgia, to bring a friend and make new ones. They're very, very special, important places. And I think if you aren't part of the convention community, it's hard to know unless you've been there. So if you haven't gone, give it a chance. And it's a truly, truly special place, truly special time. We're so grateful to come back every year that we get to. So thank you again.
So before we wrap up, we'll just have another quick promo for Witch Bomb. So we've got our third Witch Bomb event. That's the third event that Star Furies run for Warrior Nun and Motherland Fort Salem. And that's taking place 1st to the 3rd of August at the Renaissance Hotel, Heathrow. Now, you're going to help me on this one so I don't get into trouble in August. Now, we've got S. Hodelmosser.
Yeah, you got it.
Correct. Thank God for that. So that's going to be their first time at a Star Fury event. Also, for their first convention, we've got Demetria McKinney coming along as well. From Warrior Nun, and also from Snow White at the moment. She's Rachel Zegler's mum. We've got Lorena Andrea, and we also have Christina Tonteri Young back as well. And we've got Amalia Holm joining us. And of course, we got Taylor Hickson. So that's how the lineup's looking for it at the moment. I'm talking with 2 more people from Fort Salem and 1 more person from Warrior Nun. It's all down to how ticket sales going, but that's how it's going to be going. And it'll be great seeing you along. But thank you very much for joining us tonight and taking the time out. I hope Friday night goes well for you. We'll all be you'll knock it dead, kid. You'll do fine. But we'll all be thinking of you and sending you our best. And it'd be great if you had something recorded by August, because I'm sure we'll all love to hear it.
Yes, I have something ready, but hopefully I can release that, and then I'll have a new thing ready for you as a secret. I can't remember what someone said. Cheeky sneak peek.
Yes. So give my best to Leah as well when you speak to her. So we'll bring it to an end now, but we'll see you again in August. But until then, you take care, and thanks so much for joining us tonight.
And you. Thank you again so much.